Yo, good morning. Happy February 1st. So, we got a lot of tickers to go through, so I'm just going to get right into it. I'm going to start off with the S&P 500. This is the XPS, it's an index. So, this is basically the overall market, right? So, why I want to go over this is because there's a bunch of stocks in the S&P 500. So, if the overall market is in a bearish condition, it's likely that the stocks in this index are also going to be in a bearish position, or if it's bullish, it'll the stocks in it will be bullish as well. So just keep that in mind, that when you're investing, the overall market is something that you should probably be thinking about. Is it in a bullish condition or bearish? Just keep that in mind. So at this point in September, we had a nice all-time high in 2020, and it started to act as resistance. Came, pushed down, came back up, resistance, pushed down, and then it had some confluence in this area, but then it turned into support. So it came up over and it eventually turned into support, and then we went on another big run. So then I've been watching this trend line since late November, and this bottom trend line here has been acting as support, which is good. We want to see that. Every time it comes to this level, it bounces off, right? One, two, three, four, five, 6 touches, but then we break through here. Now, and we have, if we zoom in, just last week with all this GameStop drama and all this nonsense in the market, January 28th, we have a large rejection with this drawdown. Now, what I'm expecting, to be honest, is the market's gonna, we're all in a buy the dip mentality right now. And I think that could eventually hurt a lot of people. So keep an eye on your tickers that I'm going to be going through, and have your stops ready. Like, know where you're going to exit if you're wrong. Okay. So that's something you should probably pay attention to on all your tickers. So I think we're eventually, what's going to happen now is we came up from a high, higher low, lower high, lower low, and now we're going to come back test this line, and then I think we're going to come back down just to have some healthy consolidation on the overall market. So now we're going to move on. Mtrx, we're going to start on the daily time frame here. So this stock, man, so I took an L on this stock. This is what happened. um, I made my stop the bottom trend line here, and I let it fall through, and then at 174 I exited the trade. So I took a like 7% loss, and then saved myself from like a almost 30% drawdown. So that's why you want to create your rules, right? So that this is what I did on the play. That was my risk to reward ratio. It was, I got in a little bit higher, got in like right there. So my risk to reward here was a lot higher. But now I think we're in a position where it could be nice. As you could see in the past, there was a gap created. So it gaps up, and then we have trouble trying to go further up in this stock. So what happened was we ended up filling the gap to the downside. Now, if I wanted to get into this trade now, there's another opportunity here. So I'm going to be on the watch here on Mtrx, because I do believe there's opportunity. So I would do something like this, where there's potential 15% drawdown, but your upside is pretty large here. It could come all the way back up and eventually get to the previous highs that we were at. It's an AI stock. I like the opportunity. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen, but I might throw in a small amount just to test the waters and see what is happening here on Mtrx. So next is Mmed. So honestly, I still like Mmed and what it's doing here. I still think it's going to go for a nice run. We had a nice big move to the upside, right? So when a big move like this happens and it goes up over 200%, sometimes it takes a lot of time to digest that move, right? So it's literally the stock just going through consolidation. I noticed that we're in this big range here, right? Why can't we get out of this range? Well, it might take just a little bit more time. So I like what we're seeing here, and if we zoom in to the 30-minute time frame, we're starting to see bullish divergence on the chart. So it's essentially when the stock is like consolidating, but the RSI, which is the relative strength indicator, is telling you that it's increasing, which means there's buying pressure coming in, or it's starting to become more bought. So I like what I'm seeing here on MMED. I'm still gonna hold my position, When I got in, it was this was my risk to reward here. It was like I got a lot of my shares around the 340 to $380 range. So my risk to reward is large here, right? So I wouldn't bail out of this trade until it gives me a confirmation breakdown beyond that point to the downside. So that's what I like on MMED here. We're going to go to FCEL. So right at first you're looking at FCEL, and I really do like what it's doing, right? It starts from a low, makes a high, higher lows and higher highs. This is an uptrend 100%, right? Like we can all agree that this is for sure an uptrend. But the only thing I don't like is when I zoom out to the weekly time frame and we give it a look here, right? This stock, like, there's a lot of these stocks you're gonna see today because that, like, it's a massive downtrend. This stock was once worth, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I don't like it. It was once worth somewhere up in the 4,500s back in 2000. Like, what? You know what I mean? This is just a massive downtrend. So there's going to be a lot of resistance on the way back up. You don't want to have a lot of resistance on your charts. So we'll go back to the daily, right? And take a look at it. And where does it stall? It happens to, it's stalling in a prior resistance zone. And you could see the large wicks from the top. That's telling you there's rejection from that level. So I don't really see an entry point right now in this stock, so it's a pass for me. Dogecoin, let's go. You guys love it. Okay, so if you're into crypto, this is one of those crypto, it's just a crap coin. There's really no significant groundbreaking news or deals about this coin. It's simply just a pump and dump, like one of those. Like, people are pumping it up right now. So if I was gonna play it, this is what I have drawn. I'm on the 30-minute time frame, and we have an inverse head and shoulders pattern. So here we have the left shoulder, the right shoulder, sorry, the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder, and this is our neckline here, right? So the way I would play this is I would make my stop somewhere like around this level, and then your upside is pretty large here to like an 80% to 17% drawdown. So if I was gonna play this stock, that's what I would do, or this cryptocurrency. It's called a crap coin, to be honest, but that's what I would do with this one. There's nothing super intriguing about it. I'd rather play like Ethereum, Bitcoin, FTT, Link. What else do we got? Dot. Those are the crap coins that I actually really like. So check those out instead of Dogecoin. All right, now we're moving on to AGQ. This one's a silver ETF, and its pre-market is up at 63. And basically, this is why it's up at 63. We have another inverse head and shoulders with the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. The only thing I don't like about these ETFs sometimes is they're very gappy. If you look at them, excuse me, there's days where there's just big gaps in between, and it's hard to hold that sometimes, because like if it's gapping against you and it's gapping to the downside, it's like, dang. So this could be a nice big gap up and run, or a gap up and it might come back down to test this trend line. We don't know yet. We'll have to see, right? There's a lot of hype behind silver right now. Another ETF that you might want to check out if you're interested in the precious metals is SLV and GLD, silver and gold. Those are probably the more popular ones, and I'd prefer trading those ETFs instead of like the random ones like AGQ. Although I really do like this setup here. It's looking good. So ESE, I'm not sure exactly what all these stocks do. This one's, nothing's really like screaming out to me like you got to get into this. It's a really, really great opportunity. So I would just be patient and let it play out. There's clearly a lot of price rejection, and you can tell because of these wicks here, right? Price rejection as soon as it gets up to like $1.75. So there's nothing screaming at me, hey, get in this. The bullish volume, look here, right? There was a lot of bull volume on the way up, but now it's consolidating in this range, and there's no major bull volume. So this is telling me that it might want to make a correction to the downside. If I had to get in right now, like if someone was like, get in, I would probably do something like that. You know what I mean? Just to be safe. But otherwise, I'm not a big fan of this one. MRS, Mission Ready Solutions. So I'm going to zoom in here to the 4 hour. This is a penny stock. I kind of like what's going on here. Let's check out the 2 day. I don't know, man. Sometimes penny stocks, I'll just avoid them just because, like, one, it's a random company that I don't know about. Um, but it's not really telling me much here. Like, sure, there's a big increase in bull volume on a random day, but that makes me feel like somebody knows something. You know what I mean? There's not really a lot, like a high amount of investors making this stock relevant, or else it would be in play. But I really don't see that right now. If I had to get in, I like this sort of bull pennant shaping up, and I would let that develop so then I could get a risk reward opportunity around the base of it, somewhere around here. That's what I'd like to see, right? That's what I'd like to see in this MRS here. We're going to move on now to MRT.UN. Alright, guys. Yeah, stocks like this, I would never touch. I would never touch this. You need to pay me. Just because, like, there's no, like, nothing's telling me anything here. There's a massive drawdown from $12 to 5, and there's no bull pressure breaking it up beyond this point. As you can see, rejection, rejection, rejection. It seems to have made a higher low here, something like this. This was the low, and then it's made a higher low, sure, but until it breaks over this area, I'm not touching it. I want to see that it's going to break up over this resistance zone and then make the push back to get up to $11. Then I would try to get in. Otherwise, I'm avoiding this for now. CCIV. This one's the SPAC company. I'm not a big fan of SPACs because the company itself hasn't really done much. There's no actual product out, but I kind of like what the chart's starting to do now, right? It's starting to make higher lows, higher highs, and it's starting to form some sort of thing here. We'll zoom into this. Yeah, if we zoom into the 1 hour time frame, it's starting to make a nice move, a nice triangle here. So I would follow this, and it's kind of hard to like judge, right? Because as you see on the daily time frame, like from my experience with SPACs, once they merge, they tend to go back to where like majority of the holders are. So I will check here, and majority of the holders seem to be in this $18 range here. So I would make that my support. This has got to be my support here. I don't want to see it break below this level. If it breaks below this $18 range, 17 to $18 range, that's bad news in my opinion. I would kind of want to get out. If it keeps making higher highs and higher lows, then ride the wave. If you wanted to get in right now, it already broke out of this pennant, so your signal to get in would have been the break of the pennant, and then your stop would be the low of this pennant here. So if you're already in, you're laughing. If you're trying to get in, I'd be a little bit more patient and wait for a nice clear risk to reward opportunity that will give you a positive return. FSR. All right, we got FSR here. We're going to look at the daily time frame. So when we're looking at this chart, it's again like I need to see something clearly bullish. Right now, the only thing bullish to me is this range it's playing in. But even so, like it's clearly evident on this one that the bull volume, when it comes in, it makes a move. Like, so if you're in this stock at the bottom of the range and you see bull volume coming in, that could be a buying opportunity for you, right? So if I had to play this stock, I would do something like this where I'd make my stop somewhere down here, and then I'd take gains at the top of this range because it's had a lot of trouble in this range of the stock. Over here gets pushed down, right? Push down, push down, push down. So I'm not a big fan of this one, although this is the range it's clearly playing in. Just be careful for this move to the downside because it could be coming anytime soon. And if the move to the upside is coming, you'll know with the bull volume coming in from the low volume nodes at the bottom of the chart there. Pltr, yo, this stock is a beast. Look at it. Um, base is out down here, higher high, starts from a high, higher low, higher low, rips, higher low, and now it plays in this range, right? So this one's a beauty. I really like it. It's out of this pennant, it broke bull, and look at this candlestick here. Massive bullish candlestick with the volume telling you there's going to be higher prices in the future coming, likely. So this stock, I would keep an eye on it. If you want to get in right away, put in an amount that you're willing to see consolidate. You know what I mean? Because what could happen is it might just do one of these, try to find some ground in this area, and then go for another big rip. I really like the looks of it here when we zoom into the 2 hour. There's not really anything to see right off the hop, right? I want to see it hold this little bottom trend line, and I want to see it eventually make its way up to the highs. I think there's a lot of good news and good hype behind this stock, and I think there's a lot more potential to run, especially because these four volume days are telling me right out of the break of a triangle, like out of that wedge, it's telling me that like people got in that day expecting that there to be higher prices. So there will be higher prices in the future on PLTR, in my opinion. I like the setup. I made some money this week on PLTR with the option calls on this day when I got in for 40 calls, and then it went up to like $44 on before the expiry. So I'm liking PLTR and what the potential is in the future. CIDM. All right, I'm not 100% sure what this stock does, but there's a clear resistance level here on the daily. So stocks like this, man, like let's just measure how much it went up, right? It went up 800% in like what? Is that like a week and a half, 2 weeks? Like, and then once it came up, it gave back 90%. Like, there's no chance I could put money in this. You have to pay me to put money into this. There's so much better opportunities, and like to add to that, like to make it worse, like if you really look at this, it's in a massive downtrend, right? Like it was once worth $148, and there's nothing behind this stock telling you that there's going to be higher prices in the future. If you look, there's absolutely no volume on the weekly time frame, and then all of a sudden there's massive volume. That's literally telling you that somebody knows something. That's why they got in. And then there's a huge price rejection, which means somebody was taking all their gains once it got here. I would not touch this. There's a lot of resistance on this, and yeah, there's a lot better opportunities in my opinion. So stick to like uptrending stocks. That's my advice. If you like stocks like this, just throw that away. There's a lot better opportunities with uptrending stocks, not down ones. Downtrends are a lot harder to actually continuously make gains on. So this is Jaguar Mining. I think it's a Canadian company. I like this. This is a nice setup right here. So there's some resistance up here that is being rejected once we get to this $9 range, which is okay. But what I like about it is there's higher lows being made into this stock, right? A bull flag. There's some patterns being played out. Slight resistance in this range from December 4th until December 29th, but it makes a bull flag, which I'll draw out for you guys. There's the pole of the bull flag, and then we have this range here. I like that a lot. It ends up breaking up, and then we get a small little retest, but it doesn't break below this support here. That's another bullish sign. Makes a higher low going into the resistance level. So honestly, I'm expecting eventually there's going to be a breakout if it continues to make higher lows, and it's going to be somewhere up to $11 range, just because when we look at the fibs here, we'll do a little quick fib extension from the low to the high to the pullback. $12 is the first target. Yeah, I'd go with that. I like this setup a lot. So JAGX, again, this is another one of those you're gonna have to pay me. right? You're gonna have to pay me money to get into this, man. This was once worth like 5,000. No chance. I'm not touching that. You know what I mean? It's the risk is not the risk reward's not there. And if you look, it's just a continuous downtrend. There's massive resistance. So think of it like this, right? We're going to the weekly time frame so you could see it better. I like how you guys are showing me all these charts. We're getting good charts and bad charts. So I hope you guys can like get an idea of like what to look at when you're starting to invest, right? You don't want to just invest in something because it happened to go up 2,000% in a little bit of weeks. You know what I mean? Like there's opportunity in that time, but like the risk reward's not there. It's too risky. So every time the stock wants to come up, it's gonna have to go through all these resistance levels. One, right? Think of how many times it's gonna get rejected. Like if you don't happen to know and be in the stock on like 3 days before somebody dumps in a bunch of money, you're never gonna actually continuously make gains. You got to be in the know with these ones. I don't like it. I would never touch it. Neo, beautiful. Love this stock. Neo's a beast. And the thing about Neo is it loves triangles. Like if you look back, how many triangles has it broke out of? And both legs too. I tried to mark some up for you guys here. We got a nice triangle. It plays out, breaks out over, creates another wedge pattern, right? Breaks out over, bull flag to a big run, creates a triangle. It loves the triangles. What's happening right now in Neo? It's creating a triangle. So how I would play Neo right now is, this is my support level right here. I see that there's this down trend line. We'll zoom in so you guys get a better look. See this 4-hour time frame? I like this, the way it's looking here like this. It might create like a little wedge like that and then break to the upside. If it does break down to the downside, which is very possible, I would look for it to come back down somewhere in this range, right? You want it to find its previous support. So look back at the chart and where was the previous support in the chart? Well, we have some support at $40, right? Actually, you could say that this was support here. Well, resistance, you want to see it act as support. So that's my target right here. If it were to break down, I want to see it come to this $48, $49 range and act as support if it were to break down. I really like Neo. Lots of potential in the future too. You might even be better off just going long. So just hold it for a long term and just hold through the price fluctuation, because I believe in the long term there's going to be lots of potential here on Neo, like potentially another Tesla. BFT. All right, BFT. So wow, we have a broadening wedge happening here. If I wanted to get in, there's nothing telling me right now get in for sure, but I would play this trend line. So I would basically do one of these. If I wanted to get in, I'm making my stop this level here, so you lose 10%, and with the idea of getting back up to 27%. So the risk reward here is like what, 2.3 to 1. There's nothing crazy I like in this one here, so but that's what I would do if I had to get in. We have Mvis. I like Mvis. I like what it's doing here. Uptrending, right? There's a bunch of sideways trading, and then we get this triangle pennant starting to form. So it's starting to act like this bottom trend line is your support. Comes up, rejection, almost touches rejection, goes to the top trend line, gets rejected. I want to see it hold this bottom trend line now. If it can't hold the bottom trend line, then this level right here is where I want to see support, right? Why do I want to see support here? I see 1 wick, 2, 3, 4 wicks, 5 wicks in this area, right? I want to see it then act as support if it gets there. So I wanted to do one of these, come back down here, and then maybe potentially tighten up in the triangle and then go for the run. So I like Mvis. I think there's potential here. Just be careful for the downside. Remember, use this tool. Wherever you get in, set it at as the middle point and use this and bring this back to a level of support or just below support where you're comfortable with the potential drawdown. Always make sure that the drawdown is smaller than the potential reward. Okay, that's huge. You want to keep that in mind. So that's what I'm seeing on MVIS. We have NEXE. Not a big fan here. I'm not a big fan of this one. So we have, sure, it just IPO'd recently in December. We have a low, a high, creates a nice base here for a higher low. And what happened was we went for a nice run, 148%. But now the trend changes, right? High, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher low, lower high. And then it continuously goes down, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. To be honest, and look at the wicks that are forming, right? It could end up, you wanted to see the trend change of right now. You want to see it change right now. So if you look here, does this. You want to see this happen where it breaks up, creates a higher high, higher low. You want to see that happen on this one. If that were to happen, then essentially what is happening here is a nice inverse head and shoulders pattern. And then you want to see it break the neckline being like right around, oopsies, the neckline being around this area here, right? So that's what I'd be looking for on NEXE. I kind of like what it's telling, like showing us, but I want to see the confirmation first. Go to the upside. I want to see the confirmation. All right. ACST, this is another one. Like, there's no chance I'd touch this one, right? Massive downtrend, big downtrend, and there's a lot of resistance, right? You have to think about the stock, when it's gonna go up, where is it gonna stall at? How you can tell is by looking back at the chart and then checking where the resistance is, right? This level is clear resistance. There's rejection, rejection, rejection. Comes up, rejected, rejected. And then there's, if you look at the daily time frame, a massive gap, right? So if we look at this one, big gap down, and it happened to fill the gap to the upside, but look, resistance, and then it gets shot back down, right? So if this happens, if it could go up, right? It's one of those penny stocks that was worth a lot, and now it's just having troubles, like gaining some momentum to the upside. I would ignore it. There's better opportunities. MVMD, another one, not a fan, just not a fan, same thing. PNG, what we got here. So I kind of like what I'm seeing here. This is starting, this was resistance, right? Resisted, came up over, support, 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 support. So I want to see that continue act as support. I wouldn't buy now. I would wait for it to come down to that level. Then I would buy, and I'd set my stop like maybe 10% and then give it some room because there's some potential to the upside, right? If it does want to break up 57 or 75%, I would play it like that. And that's what we got for today. Jeez, yo, shout out to all you guys giving me those tickers, yo. Let's go. That was fun. I like that. So next week, I'm going to be doing this weekly. If you're interested and you got stocks that you want me to break down, send them to me over DM, and I'll add them into the weekly ticker breakdown. Comment down below if you want your stock to feature in the next week's one, and then we'll continue from there. Peace. Have a good week, guys.